Alright, so you want to know who the best and worst attackers are for Coastline. Well, you're in the right place because that's exactly what we're figuring out today. We're going to talk about all the attacking operators in alphabetical order specifically, so that we can know who the best are and know who to not play and know who to play, so we can maximize our efficiency on Coast and win more attacks. It's that simple, guys. So first off, we got Ace, and Ace is actually probably the only hardbreacher I would want to run on Coastline, which is surprising because on most of the tier lists, they have been absolutely running the S tier. Now, on Coastline, I think Ace is amazing on the hookah site. Not only can you ace the hookah wall from outside on the balcony, but you can ace the billiards wall from on the roof. So there's a lot Ace can do on that site. On the kitchen site, he's not quite as useful though. I think Ace is probably like an A tier on this map. Not someone you would want to run like every single round, but super, super strong on that hookah site. And also good for like the penthouse site if you have any enemies that go there. Blue bar too, good on blue bar. Amaru on Coastline is definitely a popular pick. A lot of people love flying in through that billiards window or that top white window to rush onto the hookah site. And honestly, it's not that bad of a play. It's just very risky. Pretty much Amaru is the same as she's going to be every other place. On this map though, it is a little more frag heavy. You can get up to the roof pretty quickly. I would give Amaru like a C tier just because I know people will be a little upset if I put her any lower on Coastline. The G8's going to be a massacring machine on this map. In general, Coastline, you just want fragging power. You want fighting power, and you do want still a little bit of utility, but Amaru brings flashbangs. She brings the G8 with a 2-time sight, and a lot of people would be upset if she didn't land at least in the C tier. Ashe on Coastline isn't the most horrible pick. Like I was just saying, you do want a little bit of utility. She has 2 Ashe charges, which are going to be semi-useful on this map, but in general, you probably just want her beast weapons, which if you think they're beastly, at least I would probably prefer just the AK-12, but whatever, you do you. Wouldn't say she's an F tier on this map, maybe like a D tier just because this is a map where it's a little more scrappy and Ashe isn't bad. Let's put her up to C tier with Amaru, okay? We'll put her up to C tier. This is the highest Ashe is ever going to place on any map. Definitely the only map you would maybe even pick Ashe on, but still probably not. Just bring better ops still. But she's going to be in C tier. I still think Amaru is probably a better pick. The G8 is a bit better, and she has those flashbangs. So a couple of C tier bumping operators here. This is new. This is new for these guys. So hey, there you go. Blackbeard, he's still not going to make it out of the rough. He's going to stay in F tier for this one. Blackbeard's just horrible. Shield's not great. Sure, you can like use him to entry, or if you're playing very aggressive defenders, he can be okay. But realistically, if you're picking Blackbeard, there's probably better picks you could be using. And he's really just bad. He's really just bad all the time, every map. Bad Beard, new name. Blitz is not fantastic on Coastline. There's a lot of long angles from like through kitchen, courtyard. On that first floor especially, there's a lot of long angles that are just going to make Blitz not great. Really, you could like do some smoke plays on hookah to run in and take hookah, but there's a lot of crossfires. Blitz in general is actually just really bad on this map. I would probably like never pick him on Coastline just because there is so many crossfires, so many long angles, and it's just going to be hard to get up in their face and actually use the shield effectively. I think he's an F tier on this one, just really not an ideal pick whatsoever. Coastline's one of Buck's best maps though. Buck is really good on this map. There's a lot of walls you can just blast open when you're clearing a roam. It's very easy to get multiple lines of sight on defenders who are holding specific locations by just blowing a wall out with the skeleton key. Not only that, but he's great for literally every site, for bucking underneath or bucking from above to push defenders out of the bomb site. Honestly, Buck is probably like an A tier on this map. This is one of the best maps for Buck, and Buck is just an amazing pick overall on this map. I think Buck is probably even better than Ace on this one. On the other hand, Capitao is not great on this map. There's a lot of just scrappiness on this map, and most of the time you're not going to actually get the chance to use those flames or use those smokes. He is good for executes, like on the billiard site. If you're trying to plant from Aqua behind the bomb there, you can like flame off and smoke off the rotate, and they can't really push through. So there are moments where he can be good, but overall he's not amazing. If you are just playing very execute heavy and just going directly onto the site, he can be fairly strong. I would say he's probably in the C tier, still better than Amaru and Ashe. Like you'll want to pick Capitao over Amaru and Ashe, but in general, there's just better utility to pick. You probably want more grenades. The smokes are not like super ideal unless you're playing very coordinated. So for those reasons, he's going to just be top of C tier, but yeah, he's a meh pick for me. Dokkaebi is going to be in the B tier. Dokkaebi is a pretty good operator right now. Those phone calls are going to be great on this map because it is a smaller map. The only kind of downside is if they are holding those longer angles, you're not going to be able to hear their phone by the time you're already dead. So for those reasons, okay pick, Good for roam clearing though. If you're working with a team to roam clear, the calls are going to be very effective. Hacking the cameras on this map too is also going to be very strong because there's not a lot of cameras, and that's really all the defenders are working with for intel, and the cameras are very strong. So having the defenders have to take out their own cameras or just leaving them up and having that info is going to help your team a huge amount. So Doki's a pretty good pick, but just going to be B tier. Then we got Finka. Finka's S tier every map. Everybody knows this already. LMG, 2 grenades, gone 6. Leaks, rumor has it that she's getting rid of her nades. So without nades, she'd probably still be like an A tier, B tier pick, but with her grenades and gone 6, she can blow it all up. She can clear it all. She can kill everyone. She's a killing machine, and that's what Coastline is for. So Finka, easy S tier. Probably the best pick on this map, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see what we get with the other ops. Flores on Coastline's pretty good. Now, there is a few like anchor spots that people will set up your utility, like a shield facing hookah or some sort of cameras facing Aqua or something in the 90 hall or Malusi's or whatever. And Flores is very good at using the drone holes and using the different routes to get into the building with drones to destroy all that. So it's very easy for Flores to break a lot of stuff on this map. I think Flores is probably like an A tier pick. The only reason he's not like an S tier is because his gun and secondary utility is lacking a bit. But Flores is still a really good pick. He can clear pretty much everything on his own. So it's just very, very strong to get rid of all the utility basically as one person and then have your other 4 operators to be killing machines. So Flores is almost like the hardbreacher, almost like the support player of Coastline, and he's a really good pick. I'm gonna put him right here above Ace. Fuze Coastline. Wow, this is an interesting one. I mean, Fuze can be good on the kitchen site because there is not a lot of spots to play as a defender. It is gonna push them out of the site very easily. So the Fuze charges can actually be very impactful on kitchen, but they're still Fuze charges. You can get nitroed. You can just get shot through the shotgun. I've shotgunned people through the floor while they're fusing before. It's pretty easy if you're good with sound. That being said, on the hookah site, you could fuse like some of the windows maybe, or even the quad wall if you're up for it. The hard breach chargers can be good to like get into VIP if they reinforce those walls. Overall, pretty bad op, but okay for the kitchen and blue bar sites. Like those basement sites, he can be okay on. Not like amazing though. I think he's probably like a D tier pick. I'll put him in C tier just because he's actually like a good pick on the kitchen side, a good pick. Plus the AK-12 is going to be good on this map because it's the AK-12 best gun in the game, and you want people who can kill people. I'm gonna say he's like, yeah, below Ash. This one's debatable, but C tier, not terrible. Glaz can be good on Coastline for just holding those long angles. If you're using Glaz on service, you toss a smoke in, you can push into service and like take a person out and get out. That's great. You can play the upside down rappel there with the smoke grenades. You can play in ruins if you really wanted. I'm not a fan of the ruins plays, guys. Stop going into ruins and holding long angles. Most of the time it's going to do nothing and you're just hurting your team. So not a fan of the ruins, but I mean an option for him. You can go on the hookah balcony, smoke off, get into hookah, shoot them in the side. You can use it for an execute on the aqua side of the billiard site. So there are some good plays with Glaz. Now, that being said, I don't think he is like the best pick by any means. He can be good, but not great. I'm stacking the C tier here, and I feel bad because they are all C tier. They're all so mid that it's hard to put them in a good spot. I think Glaz might be like right behind Capitao here. I still think like better than these 3. But yeah, like, meh. Yeah, chances are you probably want someone with a better gun to actually just be more aggressive, because Coastline aggressiveness is usually the answer. Coastline is a really good map for Gridlock. Gridlock is very slow. 1 speed. Nobody likes playing 1 speeds, but Coastline's a map that you can get around fairly quickly, which is why Gridlock is going to be B tier for me. You can get around quickly. She can lock down those flanks. Because the map is smaller, you can hear people shooting the track stingers. If somebody is coming on a flank, they have to shoot those track stingers. You're going to hear it, and that's the nice part. Not only that, but it covers a lot of ground. Just the locations you're going to put them in are just good for Gridlock. So the staircases, you know, that hallway into office, those are all going to be great spots for the track stingers. She's going to be a B tier, and this is one of the best maps for Gridlock in my opinion. Hibana is not going to rate as highly as Ace on Coastline. If you're trying to open that quad wall or even the hookah wall, like I mentioned before with Ace, the Hibana pellets just take much longer to actually deploy and open up. So the odds of them actually rotating around and shooting it off the wall, not only is it easier to shoot, but they have a longer time to do it. So it's going to be just more difficult to actually achieve what you're trying to achieve. And you should just probably play ace if you're going to do it. Now, the only upside is she does have the flashbangs, but in general, I don't know. I think Hibana's like a B tier, maybe even C tier, but like low B tier pick on Coast. You don't need her. She's not like the best, and there's typically a better option. But again, those flashbangs, sometimes you do want the extra burn or just like the ability to play make with those. So she's not going to be completely tanked into like the D tier or anything. Iana is going to be S tier. Iana is the GOAT. I don't know if she's better than Finka on this map, but she is very, very strong. Those clones, and because the map is so small, you can just clone something over and over and over, and eventually they're going to leave. If you are playing an offside and your team's pushing from another way, you just keep cloning and cloning, and that guy has to rotate to help his teammates, and then you go and take it, and it's amazing, and it's awesome, and the clones are so useful. There is a bit of a Rooney play on this map too, so that's going to be nice, but gone 6, 2 grenades. Iana is probably going to be the best operator on this map once Finka loses her nades. She might even be, you could argue that she is even the best, better than Finka, but I'm going to leave her right here behind Finka because Finka LMG, so good right now. Need more coffee? IQ on Coast can be good if they're playing a Valkyrie or an Echo, but realistically, you probably don't need her. Getting the Valk cams is good on this map if you're playing the IQ. And on top of that, she has some great weapons, so scrappy map, good for IQ. In general, though, you probably just want more utility. Having the extra util, having those grenades, being able to nade through the floor, and just do all these like heavy util plays is going to make it so much easier to win your attacks. I think IQ is probably like a D tier. I'm sorry IQ, but you're just not helping very much. Now, if they are running the Valk, run the IQ, sure thing. If you need it, but the chances are Valk's probably banned or they are terrible. Jackal, though, is amazing on this map. Amazing. I think Jackal is probably an S tier pick on this map. It's just so annoying to play against a Jackal on Coastline because you don't have a lot of room to move around as a roamer, and the second you're tracked, you're pretty much just fucked. Like, you can try to run away, but the chances are they've already cut you off. Jackal tracks on top of drones will just obliterate a roamer so fast on this map. So Jackal's going to be S tier. Doesn't have the nades, so not quite as good as these guys, but still very, very good. If you're playing Kali on Coastline, firstly, you need to stop. Secondly, I hate you, especially if you're on your team. The chances are if you're playing Kali on Coastline, you're probably out there sitting in ruins like a nerd, and that's annoying, and I don't like that. It might work sometimes, but it's realistically just a terrible option. You're wasting your own time, and if you don't get a kill, you're pretty much useless for your team. On top of that, your lances aren't doing anything, and you could play in ruins with anybody with an ACOG and achieve the exact same thing while having extra utility. So if you're really going to sit in ruins, don't do it with Kali. Kali, I would say, is worse than BB on this map, and you guys also hate the fact that I rank Kali so low all the time. She has her SMG, it's so good. Yeah, it's good. It is good. Her SMG is good, but Kali overall is not good. So it's just like I would rather play Blackbeard 100%. Lion's going to be a great pick on this map, similar to Jackal in the sense that those lion scans in combo with drones are just going to destroy roamers. There's not a lot of room to move already. So if you lock them in a spot that's uncomfortable, you can get easy wall bangs, go to a window. It's very easy to rotate around and pinch those offenders. Using a lion scan at the same time is just going to give you extra time to get that pinch and make it very easy to get kills. I think Lion's like an A tier pick on this map, probably even better than Ace. Yeah, I would say he's like right here in this area. Lion, very, very solid on this map. Honestly, one of the best maps for him. Then we got Maverick, and I love Maverick. Best hard breacher, no counter. Also, no fucking walls to get on this map. Maverick is garbage on Coastline, which is surprising because he's the best. It's just the map design. Maverick on any other map is going to be S tier pretty much all the time. On Coastline, though, he is arguably the worst operator that has grenades. I'm sorry, Maverick. I'm sorry to do you dirty, but I just think Maverick is like a D tier op on this map. If you're picking him, chances are you're being useless with that blowtorch. Sure, you could blowtorch the corner of a barricade and sneak in. That's pretty much the only play you're going to make with them. and you can get the VIP wall, but Penthouse is played like barely, so that's really going to be the only time you might need them if they're playing Penthouse and bringing wall denial, and you don't want to bring like Thatcher because he's probably not banned anyway. So Maverick, do I put him in D tier? I feel like that's a little low. He does still have grenades, but realistically, the grenades are still better than Ash charges. I feel like if I put Maverick here, I have to put Ash behind him. I've done a little bit of moving around. Mav is going to be in the D tier, above IQ though, because he has the nades. The nades are probably going to be more effective than the IQ scanner on a round-to-round basis. Now, you could argue that the grenades are better than the Ash charges because they're like lethal Ash charges. So Ash charges that you could get kills with, right? Except Ash has either Claymores or Breach charges on top of that. So if you're doing like a vertical take, Ash can use the Breach charges to open up a lot of the floor along with her Ash charges, whereas Maverick wouldn't be able to do that. And if you're like playing repels as Ash, you could Claymore jump outs, etc. Whereas Mav, you're not going to be able to do that. Mav's Blowtorch, pretty much completely useless on this map. Unfortunate for Maverick because I love him so much, but he is going to be a D tier pick on Coastline. Monty on Coast, not terrible. Not terrible. I wouldn't say he's F tier, whereas normally he's like F or D. I think he's actually maybe like a C tier on this map. You can add a lot of pressure to roamers with Monty, and really just get a lot of info. And info is very important on this map because it's so small, and you got to be careful of just all the rats and all the crazy stuff that happens on this map. The only real downside for Monty right here is that there is a lot of crossfires, like we mentioned with Blitz before, so it's fairly easy to get shot in the back or shot from above or flanked or whatever it may be. So he's okay. He's okay on Coast, and that's pretty good for Monty. I think he's probably right here above Glaz, maybe just behind Amaru. C tier pick, middle of the pack. He's meh on this map. He's not garbage and useless and a waste of a pick, I wouldn't say, but definitely better opposite pick, definitely worse opposite pick. If you're a Monty main, congratulations, you've earned a spot on Coastline. Enjoy your stay. Nokk on Coastline isn't going to be quite as effective as she is on other maps. The only reason really being it's small, most of the entrances are being covered, and lurking into the building, you're probably not sneaking past many cameras depending on where you go in from. Whereas on a map like Chalet, there's always cameras to sneak past, whether you go up a staircase or coming through the lobby or coming through the basement. There's always going to be somewhere that scanner is going to be super, super effective. Whereas on Coastline, you're probably using it more for the sound quietness than the actual sneaking past the default camera quietness, because the locations you're getting into just aren't that impactful if you are getting past the cams. So I think she's like a top B tier pick, maybe an A tier. She does have the grenade still, but I just think her ability is not quite as good as it is on other maps. Plus, with the FMG9, you probably just want something that does a little more damage because there's a lot of close range engagements. I'd say she's like a B tier pick, probably just behind Dokk, but still a good operator. Still Nokk, still nades, still sneaky, still pretty decent. So I'll put her middle B. Maybe I'm doing her a little dirty. Maybe you think she's in the A tier. Let me know what you think in the comments, but I'm just going to leave her here because I have nobody to argue with right now. This is probably one of the best maps for Nomad. Getting into Sunrise and Office and nomading off your flanks gives you so much control on this map. It allows you to attack Kitchen. You can attack Kitchen that way. You can attack Hookah and Billiards that way and nade through the floor, buck through the floor, open the floor, kill people through the floor, whatever floor, you get it. But where exactly are we going to put her? You can even take up top with Nomad and Nomad off your flanks that way. I think Nomad is an A tier pick, like maybe S tier. You could probably argue S tier, but I think she is top of A tier here. Maybe behind. ARX so good. I'm gonna put her top of A tier. You could probably argue for S tier though. This is one of the best maps for her as well, similar to Gridlock. So Nomad very, very strong on Coastline. You can't really go wrong with a Nomad pick here. Osa is a beast on this map. Osa is an S tier pick on this map. You can play her on pretty much any site and be very, very impactful. If you set up a shield just outside the service door, you can cut the kitchen bomb site in half. It's really messed up and it's really annoying to play against. If you see an enemy playing Osa on this map, you just need impacts. You need to break her shields as fast as you can because these things are so fucking annoying on this map, and she is so strong. Set them up on the hookah bell. Set them up on the service door. Set them up in Aqua while you're planning. Set them up everywhere. It doesn't matter. She's so good. I would say she's probably above Jackal here. The shields are very, very strong, but again, you can just impact them, and that is really the only solution, is to bring impacts if you see them playing Osa, even for one round. It's because if they bring her out another round, things are going to get worse, okay? Next up, we have Sens, and honestly, Sens is pretty good on this map. There's a lot of good angles you can cut off. Going for that Aqua Execute is good with the Sens gadget. Cutting off like anything in service or kitchen and hopping in and making plays that way can be decent. I really wish Sens were just a little faster and had maybe a little bit a better weapon, because those are really the only things holding them back. Now, Sens on Coast, chances are you probably want some better utility. Like, that's just the sad part, is like, you're really only going to get good plays when you're going for an execute or going for a pinch on those roamers. And even then, you can probably do it without the Sens walls. That's the biggest thing, is you can do the same thing Sens does with smoke grenades. So it hurts me to always be shitting on Sens, but unfortunately Sens is going to be like right here behind Glaz. I still think Glaz smokes and the Glaz thermal scope is going to be stronger, but I don't want to discredit Sens too much, because probably the best map for them. Sledge on Coastline, absolute unit. Sledge has been done dirty a little bit in the past couple tier lists, so Coastline is going to revitalize them a bit. You can sledge out kitchen bomb site from above. You can nade through the floor of the hookah bomb site, or even just help clear roamers with a sledgehammer, making rotates. A lot of good places for Sledge on this map, plus the L8 is going to be a beast for just the aggressive and gunfight heavy map that it is. Blue bar, also very good. Penthouse, there's a lot of castle play, so Sledge will also be very good. I think Sledge is just someone you cannot go wrong with on this map. I think Sledge is S tier, only going to be at the lower end of the S tier because of the fact that on the hookah bomb site, the sledgehammer isn't the most useful, but the nades are still going to be very, very strong on the site. So Sledge is going to be really good on pretty much every site. No, Sledge is going to be good on every site. It's just the sledgehammer might not be good on every site, but on most sites it is. So Sledge, S tier, can't go wrong, bottom of the S tier. Now, Thatcher is typically insta-banned on every map. Coastline is one that sometimes he might not be, and Thatcher is good on this map, but really only for clearing utility. So Thatchering the roof to get rid of ADSs and Womidus so that you can clear a shield is pretty much what you're going to be doing with them. Now, most of the time you probably just won't need the Thatcher for this. You can use flashbangs, but he does make it a little more safe. If you're using Thatcher to like EMP stuff off the quad wall to open it with Ace, I just think this is like a worse approach to actually playing the map, because it's just so easy to shoot those off anyway, and you have to clear like literally the entire map if you want to do that. So it's a big investment to bring Thatcher and Ace, only to get your shit shot off the wall and not have any utility to do anything else. So I think Thatcher is like a B tier pick. Like, the chances are you probably want somebody better. Like, the chances are the EMPs are not going to be effective every round. So B tier, low B tier. You don't need to ban Thatcher on this map. Just try it out, see how it goes. But low B tier, especially in ranked. In comp, he's probably a little higher because you are getting much more coordinated play. But low coordination, low rank, Thatcher garbage. You don't need him. Even more garbage, though, is going to be Thermite. You cannot Thermite anything but the VIP wall on this map, and that's only really for the one site, maybe the hookah site. You don't need him. You do not need him. I would say bottom D. If you are attacking that site or need to open that wall, hard breach tools are great. Maverick is even better, depending on if they have wall denial or not. So maybe I'll put him F tier. Yeah, Thermite's F tier. Like, pretty much completely useless all the time. Pretty much all the time, completely useless. But still better than Cali. Still better than Cali, though. There we go. There we go. No, you know what? Better than BB2, because his gun is still way better than Blackbeard, so Blackbeard's pretty meat. Blackbeard's pretty meat. We'll put him high F. High F. Ooh, nice. Twitch is going to be really solid on this map. Taking out the default cams with the Twitch drones, taking out Goyos or ADSs, Womidus. There's a lot of stuff you can just tase with Twitch. Plus the F2 is going to be a beast, or GIGN shotgun. I know you guys love that, so do I. The shotgun realistically isn't going to be great on this map because there's a lot of long angles, like I've already mentioned. But Twitch is a pretty good pick. I put her in A tier, probably up here with Flores. A little weaker than Flores because Flores is going to destroy everything. But the smoke grenades are nice. The F2 is nicer, and the Twitch drones are great. Ying's going to be super fucking annoying for defenders to deal with on Coast. She's going to be a really solid pick, B or A. I would say A tier probably. Just lower A tier. The Candelas can be very strong, but super easy to just counter with a Warden. Warden's pretty good on this map just because of the fact that it's gunfight heavy. He has a good loadout, and any flashbang smokes or Yings are going to be easy to counter with them. So she's going to be lower A. Decent pick though, not bad. Zero Coast is very solid. I would say Zero's above Dokkaebi here. You can gather a lot of info with those cameras. There's a lot of good spots for them. Plus he has a hard breach tool if you need them, or those claymores. His gun's going to be a beast. Good for taking out people. Zero, fantastic pick. Sam Fisher, my boy. The only real downside to him is that sometimes the cameras won't be necessary or won't be needed. So he's good. He's good. Top of B, almost A, but not quite. And lastly, we have Zofia. Zofia LMG stuns, impacts, killing machine, claymores, breach charges, whatever you want, dude. Zoe's gonna be an S tier pick on this map. Zoe is a killing machine, and that's what Coastline is for. Not only that, but she can self-burn and clear utility on her own. The stuns are going to be very useful if you need that info, if you need to know if a room's clear or not on the fly. Pop a stun into there. If it explodes instantly, you know he's in there. I would say Zoe is probably just here above Jackal. Absolutely killing the game though. Zofia LMG needs to be nerfed. It's literally the best weapon in the game right after the AK-12 probably. AK-12 is pretty good. It's a close one for me. All right, so there you have it, guys. These are the best and the worst attackers for Coastline. Thanks for watching. The defenders will be coming out tomorrow. Stay tuned for that, and go check out my other tier list for other maps to learn who's the best and worst on other maps, because it does switch up. So thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.